Tesla reported excellent numbers and the stock dropped, but then it recovers. Such a weird market, but that's how it is nowadays. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about Tesla, their earnings, their stock, and more. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing and smashing that like button since it really helps the channel out. Now we can see that Tesla was already up 2.07% during the day, and it went down 4.50% after the reported earnings because of some supply chain issues, and then it went up 4.83%. So it ended, or is right now after hours, 0.49% up on the green. It is trading at $941 per share with a market cap of $941 billion. Tesla bids on earnings and revenue, says supply chain issues were main limiting factor. As we can see here, Tesla reported earnings of $2.52 per share versus $2.36 per share expected by analysts, and revenue of $17.72 billion versus $16.57 billion. I know my expectations were way higher than this, but I do have to say that this was incredible. I was being very optimistic on my expectations, even though many of you believed I was not optimistic enough. We can see that I really was very optimistic. And the revenue rose 65%, but we're going to see that later on their earnings report. Now, this was one of the main issues of why the stock dropped, is our own factories have been running below capacity for several quarters as supply chain became the main limiting factor, which is likely to continue throughout 2022, which is why I was saying on my Microsoft video that we saw that they are expecting a nice growth for next quarter, which is a good sign for the market, as we see that maybe this supply chain issue might be recovering little by little. And here Tesla says that it was their main limiting factor and that it is likely to continue in 2022. So obviously that is not that good for the market, as we know that amount of companies that get affected by this supply chain issue is a lot, and obviously Tesla is one of them. Now in here we can see the growth that they have been having quarter over quarter and year over year on their revenue, but the CEO Elon Musk and other executives are expected to give a progress update on the company's long delayed heavy duty semi truck, experimental Cybertruck pickup, and plans for a driverless vehicle system at a $25,000 compact car. Because as we can see here, Alexander Luther tweeted that, "Can we get a legit Cybertruck update? It's been about 2 years after all." And Elon Musk answered, "Oh man, this year has been such a supply chain nightmare, and it's not over. I will provide an updated product roadmap on next earnings call," which that was on November 29th, meaning that they should give us a updated roadmap during this earnings call, which I have not listened to it yet. I think that it just started, so I will read it after I post this video. They said that they are making progress on the industrialization of Cybertruck, which is currently planned for Austin production subsequent to Model Y, the company said on their shareholder deck, which we're going to check right now. And Tesla's first US factory in Fremont, California, achieved record production in 2021. The company noted Tesla now aims to expand capacity at that facility beyond 600,000 vehicles per year. And obviously that is incredible news, as we know that that is what's going to help them continue growing at the pace that they have been growing and what they want to continue growing as well. Now on their quarter one shareholders deck that we said, we can see here that they have operating cash flow less capex free cash flow of $2.8 billion in last quarter, which is very nice, and $1.5 billion increasing of their cash and cash equivalents. Now their profitability, 14.7% was from operating margin, but 30.6% was their GAAP automotive gross margin, 29.2% without credits. This is obviously incredible because we know that they want to be at 30 to 35%. So this is obviously great news for the company. Now, the record vehicle deliveries of 0.94 million in 2021, and it is funny that it actually put as 0.94 million instead of 940,000 vehicles. but it is just because they're so near to the 1 million milestone that obviously it makes it more appealing for investors, to put it like this, in my opinion. An analyzed vehicle production run rate over 1.22 million in Q4 2021. We can see here that in Q4 they saw a growth of 71% in their automotive revenue and 65% in total revenue of $17.7 billion. Their operating expenses grew 50%, as we can see, from 1.4 billions to 2.2 billions, but still is very nice that we can see that their operating expenses is 50% grew 50%, while the total revenue is 65%. So they are managing their expenses right there. Now, for their net income, obviously it increased a lot as they have been improving their profitability in the past quarter. As we can see, as they said here, that there should no longer be doubt about their viability and profitability of electric vehicles, with their deliveries up 87% in 2021. They achieved the highest quarterly operating margin among all volume OEM. After a successful 2021, their focus shifts to the future. They aim to increase their production as quickly as they can, not only through ramping production at new factories in Austin and Berlin, but also by maximizing output from our established factories in Fremont and Shanghai. We believe competitiveness in the EV market will be determined by the ability to add capacity across supply chain and ramp production, which in my opinion is completely true, because we see all these new EV companies in the market and selling new EVs and all that, and telling us all of these huge expectations for the next 2 years and something like that. And I have always said that it is not that easy. It's not just to put a battery into a vehicle. It's way harder than that. And that's why Tesla have had so many problems in the past. They have been in this role for years. They are not a new company that just went public last year in 2020. They have been here for years and they know about all these problems. Yes, obviously all these new companies will learn from Tesla and maybe don't make the same mistakes as Tesla did, but still it's gonna take a lot of time. That's why when you guys tell me that you're investing in Rivian or in Lucid Motors, I tell you that I would wait and see how their vehicles react, how they're ramping delivery and production numbers are, and what they do in the next year. At least give them a year. If you invest money in those companies right now, don't invest a lot of money, and money that you will not need in the short term, because that will fluctuate a lot, as I believe they will have a lot of volatility in their stock as well. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to work out. No, I'm saying that they obviously might do well in the long term, Rivian, Lucid Motors, and all of these other projects, but it will take time. So obviously don't expect them to be the next Tesla next year, because I believe that's going to take them a lot more than that. Now, on their annual basis, we can see that it grew 73% for their automotive revenue and 71% for the total revenue. Now, their Model X and Model X production, we can see that it decreased 19%, but it has been having a nice growth quarter over quarter. Obviously, we see this decrease because we remember that in Q1 they stopped production from these two models because they were about to release the Model S Plaid and Model X Plaid. But Model 3 and Model Y grew 79% in production. In deliveries, 84% for Model 3 and Model X and Model Y, and obviously a decrease of 38% for Model S and Model X. Their solar deployed decreased 1%, storage deployed decreased 38%. Here is their capacity at the moment. They have 100,000 for Model S and Model X in California and Fremont, California, 500,000 for Model 3 and Model Y, and then more than 450,000 vehicles in Shanghai. They are still waiting for their Berlin and Texas factory, but we can see the builds of Model Y started in late 2021 at Gigafactory Texas. So they already started production in Texas in late 2021. After final certification of Austin-made Model Y, we plan to start deliveries to customers. And remember that after they finish with their Model Y in Texas, they will start with the Cybertruck in Texas. The Fremont factory achieved a record production in 2021. We believe there is a potential to extend overall capacity beyond 600,000 vehicles. The production capacity of both Model 3 and Model Y continue to ramp up further throughout 2021 as well. And in Berlin, they're still waiting for that factory as they are still in process of finalizing the manufacturing permit from local authorities. So they have not been able to start production in that factory because of the permits. Now, their outlook is kind of the same. They have always told is nothing new in my opinion. They are expecting to achieve 50% average annual growth in vehicles deliveries. They have sufficient liquidity to fund their product roadmap, long-term capacity expansion plans, and other expenses. And while they continue to execute on innovations to reduce the cost of manufacturing and operations over time, they expect their hardware-related profits to be accompanied by an acceleration of software-related. Now, their product, the pace of production ramps in Austin and Berlin will be influenced by the successful introduction of many new products and manufacturing technologies in new locations and all that. They are making progress with the industrialization of Cybertruck, which is currently planned for Austin production subsequent to Model Y, as I said below. And here are some photos from the Fremont factory. Now, I do have to say that in my opinion, Tesla reported nice numbers. They saw a nice growth in delivery and productions, in revenue, their gross margins, and all that. In my opinion, it was very, very nice. I understand that the stock dropped massively because of the supply chain, but it kind of recovered later. So it kind of recovered and it's still up, as we can see here. It's now up 8.84% since the drop, or 3% after hours, as I believe that Elon Musk is talking right now, or they are already in the earnings call. So that might be why it is recovering. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this earnings and what you think about Tesla at the moment. Is it a good price or not? I would love to see Tesla above 700, at around $700 to $800, which is when I started investing in Tesla. But that's what we got at the moment, and it is at $965 per share. I'll leave you here my video analyzing Microsoft, which I posted it this morning. Thank you and see you next time.